Well, I've got a Valli mortise that needs to be reversed. And when this door is locked by thumb turn, the inside lever is rigid. It should be free to operate and do the emergency egress. And also when it's in a lock condition from the outside, it can be rotated and retracts the bolt and everything. So these two hubs need to switch from one side to the other to change the orientation of the locking hub. And these are a little bit tricky. They're under some spring pressure. Mainly, there's two springs. There's a conical spring with a ball bearing and a ball bearing seat on it that fits into a little swivel detent assembly that helps, I think, to hold the hubs in check and keep the levers horizontal from looking like they're sagging. And it provides a fair amount of pressure. So from the other side of the lock body, part I always forget is you can use a little screw. I think this is an 832. I'm not positive, but we're going to pass it through the hole of the lock here, run it down, and that holds the swivel piece that's under spring pressure kind of in check. So I'm just running that down kind of lightly, not torquing on it hard. Pull this cover, switch these hubs. This is the last screw in the cover. So now we can take this cover off. I'll go ahead and hold in on the hubs for now. Free that cover up. So on the inside, we see that cone spring down here. There's a ball bearing and this sort of a triangular cam here that swivels like this and indexes back and keeps things straight. So that's kind of being held by that screw right now. So I'm going to unload this latch cage retractor spring right here. It's a torsion spring seated in this back corner. Take the pressure off, let that out, remove it, and then this retractor cage can cycle back. Let's just lift it up. And these are the hubs we need to switch down in here. So I'm going to go ahead and fight those out of there. Removing the top hub, which is currently the locked one. That needs to be on the bottom. And the bottom hub, which is never locked, which needs to be on the top. So this retractor cage could now come out of here. It's seated on a post on this back end here. Just so you can see, this is that swivel pivot. Has an axle point here. And that's the hole that our screw's in, coming from the other side. This ball bearing, little brass bearing plate, and conical washer are all being held under tension right now by that screw. So we'll get this back together. So we want the locking hub on the bottom. And it needs the seat. It's right now not seating because of that. There we go, I got it down. There's a little bit of tension still coming on from this part. Then the non-locking side. Sit on top. See if we can't hook this in. It doesn't like coming out that way, but it seems to go in that way. So that's hooked through its post at the back. And then this front fork is going to seat over this little guide here. And that's down and in. So our last part is putting the spring back in. Hits against the back of the lock case and then loads. So what I'm going to do is put a finger on the hub. I'm holding down here on the hub while I bring the spring around. And I don't know if we do it with a screwdriver, but it can be done by hand. So that spring's in there now. Looks like I'd like to go down more in case. All right, and then I'm going to pass the screwdriver through the cover, through the hub hole, just so I can hold in on this while I put the cover on. So I'm watching for my axle pin right here. It came through the case hole. And our hub started in there. It looks like the slides maybe a little bit wampus. We'll go up top here. That's holding us up a little. Now it's the slide. Try a nice pick, get under it, see if I can't bring that up. It just needs to get in this rectangular cutout. I don't think there's room to go through this way on it. I'm going to try and slide it a little. There we go. Now everything's dropped. The cover's on tight. Get a screw in it. All right, got 2 screws in that. We're just going to check that this cover is on. Seated all the way around. Looks good. We could pull our fixing screw from the other side. Which is right there. Free up that ball bearing. And that spring assembly. At that point, this locks together. We should be able to throw the bolt. Check that emergency egress on the inside is operational. Throw the bolt again. And check that the outside is locked at the hub, which it is. We can check our toggle. Unlock it manually. See, there's an issue there. Oh, it actually deadlocks that button when the bolt's thrown. So we retract the bolt. Now we can check our button. Outside's unlocked. Outside's locked. They deadlock that so that nobody's fishing through the door crack, trying to trip it into an unlocked state. Rock on, people. Valli and Valli. Rehand Mortise.